Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Friends, today we'll look at the Avijja Ahara Sutta. Or it's called ignorance, from the Anguttara Nikaya, or the Numerical Discourses of the Buddha. The word Ahara means food. You know, the word in Sinhala also is Ahara. And this deals with the nutriments that feed ignorance. In this sutta, it is the word Ahara means the food that feeds ignorance. The Buddha starts this sutta by saying that a first point of ignorance is not seen, which means that even the Buddha did not find a time when ignorance was not there and when it started. There are 8 factors that the Buddha has enumerated that are responsible for the ignorance that is found in human minds. So I won't be discussing all 8 points today because it's a little too much. So let us see first what ignorance is. What is ignorance? Avijja or avidya is synonymous with ignorance actually. You know, it is called moha in Pali. And it prevents the truth about the illusory nature of reality. You see, we don't see the reality because of our ignorance. Now, there are 3 things that make the world run, or, you know, sort of the cyclic nature of the world is because of 3 things. What are the 3? One is ignorance. The other 2 are, they are called lobha, dosa, and moha. Lobha means sensuous desire, lobha, or anyway desire or craving. Then dosa means ill will, anger, and so on. Then moha is ignorance. So we are talking about ignorance here. Craving and ignorance have deep tendencies in the mind to cause birth after birth in samsara. This same ignorance has made us feel that there is a self from within, you know, somewhere here, somewhere, which performs all the actions of karma that results in rebirth. That's how we look at the this existence, right? When we look at our own lives, it's possible to see how delusion or ignorance increases the defilements like anger, restlessness, irritation, laziness, doubt, etc. All kinds of defilements that are within us. You know, sometimes we don't have all these defilements, Sometimes we have some of them. But all of us have these defilements. So when we look at our lives, we can see that it is ignorance that is making us, have these defilements and sort of develop them more. Everything in the world is proportionately made up of elements that all of you know. In some, there is more of the earth element, while in another, more of the water or heat or one of the other elements. But actually, when you go to see, all the elements are there. But sometimes, usually now in our bodies, you can see it is the earth element that we can see. The way the elements join together cause the different materials to be formed. Now, our bodies are formed in a different way from the way trees are formed, right? But they all have the same elements. When we look at the mirror, one sees the image, but it's not the real person. Now, you know that this is the way it is. All are formed of elements. Though this is the nature of things, because of feelings, people get attached to them. Now, in the way that we see the image in the mirror, due to ignorance, one cannot understand the impermanence, emptiness, and non-existence of a self or anatta in these elements. So, with this delusion, we like and dislike things that are around us, or desire them and reject others. Now, this does not mean only inanimate things, even animate things, right? We do not realize the three poisons, that is, attachment, aversion, and craving, right? These cloud our decisions, causing suffering. These are the things that make us, do the wrong things sometimes. In our everyday life, these unwholesome thoughts constantly arise in our minds. For we seek, what do we seek? Profit, fame, power, possessions, satisfaction of lust and sensual desire. Now, these are all things that normal people want. So that is how we take or we make wrong decisions. And it's definitely due to ignorance that we make the wrong decisions. Unwholesomeness arises when one is morally shameless and reckless. But ignorance is at the root of it all. This ignorance prevents one from seeing the object properly, whatever the object. It may be a car, it may be a person. Whatever it is, we don't see it properly, so that it causes confusion. And one grasps the impermanent object as permanent. Overcome by delusion, not seeing the danger, destroys living beings, steals, commits sexual misconduct, speaks falsely, engage in other immoral actions. Not we all of us don't do all these things, but we do some of them, right? For such a foolish person, wrong view, causes wrong intention. And there are 8 factors in the Noble Eightfold Path. And right view is the first one. So when they have wrong view, all the other 7 factors get misled or defiled. And what happens? In the end, everything goes sort of everything gets confused. So then everything leads to the last one, that is concentration, wrong concentration. So however much you may sit for meditation, such a person cannot reach the correct concentration, right concentration. So this one cannot expect, such a person cannot expect liberation from suffering. When a noble disciple, now we are talking not of the foolish person, but the noble disciple, understands ignorance, the origin of ignorance, cessation of ignorance, and the way leading to the cessation of ignorance, she or he becomes one of right view and has arrived at the true Dhamma. This foolish person with wrong view has no idea of the Four Noble Truths, right? Even when faced with suffering, that is the first noble truth, that person does not try to understand what suffering is, how it was caused, and why or how we could get rid of it. This is all due to ignorance. So you see, although there is the possibility of overcoming suffering in this life itself, I don't mean the spiritual overcoming, I mean just ordinary in mundane life, they don't realize it because of ignorance. The cause for ignorance, according to the Buddha, is the arising of nivarana, or the hindrances. They are the nutriment of food for the growth of ignorance. Food nourishes and continue to help and support the growth of something. Now we need food, right? We all take food. The 5 hindrances or nivarana are sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. These are the 5 nivarana or hindrances. They are called hindrances because they obstruct meditation, the way to liberation. You see, they cloud the mind and hinders the attainment of wisdom. The 5 hindrances will seriously affect clear thinking and purity of life. By constant effort, it's necessary to overpower them. This has to be a lifetime effort. So to say, because one has to suppress their arising not only when meditating, but also in everyday life. When you are faced with a situation, you must be able to tackle it in a wise way and not do the wrong thing. When one carefully sees which of the hindrances is most powerful in one's mind, and also when it arises, it's easier to abandon them. If one understands the positive forces within oneself, this is the beginning of wisdom. You see, we all have positive forces within us. Only thing is, we are not aware of them, so that by wrong thinking, we very often do the wrong, or we take the wrong decisions. The first one is sensual desire. In Pali, it's called kama chanda. Kama means sensuous or senses. Chanda means the wanting or liking. That is the longing. You see, sensual desire is the longing or great wish for visible forms, what you can see, sounds, smells, taste, and tangibles. The Buddha says this is greed or lobha and craving which causes suffering. Now, don't think that this means that you should not listen to a piece of music, or you should not see a drama, or you should not read a novel. That is not the meaning of this. What it means is, don't get addicted to these things, right? Then only that you find the defilements covering your mind. When one comes in contact with any of these tantalizing objects, it's best not to grasp it as a whole or any of its details. Now, you might think, what is this? Now, when you see some person, you look at that person and you see the hair, the teeth, the eyes, the twinkling eyes, or the dull eyes, or whatever, So, therefore, the details are those things. Those are called signs in the Dhamma. So, when we grasp those only, that, you get attracted or distracted, or, sort of you want to go away from them. This is especially so as regards forms, as covetousness, grief, and other unwholesome things would follow. Now, what is covetousness? I think you know that, but still, just to, say a few words about it. Covetous means, or covetousness means, wanting what others have. Now, when you see something nice on the other side of your, your neighbor's house, you think, oh, if only I can have that kind of thing. Maybe it's a car, or it may be a person. But whatever it is, you think you would like to have what the other person has. Now, that is covetousness. So, when you are covetous, you could do anything. You could even kill or steal. So, you see, it's not a very good thing to develop. Desire or to have possession of other people's possessions. So, control of the sense faculties is essential. When one does not get attached, delighted, or welcome them, however attractive they may be, then there will be no bondage. You are not sort of bound to them, so that you could get away from them. However, the attraction is something that can happen to you, because with feelings that can happen. But when you control it, then you are becoming more and more human. When caught up in sense desire, we are convinced that the object of our desire will bring us happiness. That is what we have been seeking. This is the way of all the hindrances. They have a compelling force about them. That's why the Buddha advised us not just to, sort of abandon them or suppress them, but altogether abandon them. That's why Buddha said that. To prevent nourishing this hindrance, meditation, especially of the impurities, is helpful. Now, what are these impurities? Where do you find them? Outside in a tree? No, it's all here. The impurities. We don't see them because they are all covered with this skin, right? The skin covers it. And therefore we don't see these impurities. But we know that there are impurities inside. So when you do the meditation on impurities, that is going to help us. The Buddha has divided it into 32 parts. So very often in the West, I have found that it's not very, not a very attractive meditation for Westerners. I'm sorry I have to say this, but in the East, we do that meditation, So because it helps in understanding ourselves, helps in getting rid of the suffering that we have, helps in liberation. While guarding the sense doors, one must try to be mindful. You see, sense doors means the senses, they are called doors because they open our mind to the outside. That's why they are called doors, both inside and outside. We see outside and we take inside. So noble friendship, moderation in eating, and suitable conversation are other means of prevention. So that is the first hindrance. Now let's go to the next one. Aversion or ill will, that's called vyapada or vyapada, includes all forms of ill will, irritation, anger, animosity, annoyance, righteous indignation, and moral anger. I don't have to explain about righteous indignation, isn't that so? Because lots of people, when they start talking about politics, they get into this righteous indignation. And even, people in the same family, brothers and sisters, may sort of have hard words. So anyway, nourishing this hindrance, this ill will hindrance, is by giving frequent unwise attention to objects that may cause aversion. Sometimes it can be done by remembering the wrongs done by somebody, and you go on thinking about it. It can turn into hatred, a grudge, which you keep, and you think of ways of taking revenge, which is not a very helpful thing for you, for oneself. When one wants to punish, hurt, or destroy, it means that there is hatred in you. And as Buddha says, this is bad energy, and it first hurts oneself. Even if it appears to be justified, why should we take this method of solving a problem? In the end, neither one is happy. If you are annoyed with someone, try focusing on some good quality of that person, or practice metta, loving kindness, for that person, you see. Also, if anger hinders your mind, without focusing on the object of the resentment, right? It definitely can be a person, but it could be a situation too. But anyway, instead of, focusing on that particular thing, why not try to see the kind of hindrance that is bothering you? It could be one of these hindrances, right? And it will be interesting for you too, because you will be learning. We cannot fix the hindrance too quickly. It's better to understand where the problem is, the cause for it, and how to tackle it. Think of the negative effects of not giving it up. Now, when you don't give up that hindrance, what a lot of confusion, ignorance, sometimes you do bad things because of that. So there may be many, many consequences. You waste your time and cause your blood pressure to rise. Those are two things that can happen. Anger makes one ugly, and it may please your enemy when you look ugly. It's not by suppression that the mind could be cultivated, but by restraint of the senses, through seeing reality as it is. Now we come to the third hindrance, right? Hindrance is sloth and torpor, or tina midda. This arises when there is discontent. You see, the discontent means you are not happy with what you have. However much you may earn, you think this is not enough. I want some more. There is a very nice gatha in the Dhammapada, and one of the lines is Santutti Paramang Danang. That means to be content with what you have. That is the greatest wealth Paramang Dhanang, greatest wealth. So anyway, these are the things that can arise due to sloth and torpor. Discontent, drowsiness, lethargy, overfeeding, and sluggishness of mind, or internal laziness of mind. Wisely developing effort, exertion, and striving can neutralize the bad effects of sloth and torpor. You know, there were two disciples, great disciples of the Buddha, Sariputta and Moggallana. So when Moggallana was striving to become an arahant, he was not yet an arahant, right? He was not yet the great disciple. So he was striving to, become an arahant. Then he strived and he was striving so hard. In the end, he was very tired and he fell sort of nodding, he was having a nap at one end of the somewhere, on a chair or somewhere. Then Buddha saw him and advised him to change the object of meditation, or to mentally examine the Dhamma, or pull the ears and rub the limbs with the hands, or wash the eyes and look at the sky, or reflect on the perception of light. It may be night and then there is no light, but you can sort of close your eyes and imagine that there is light. Or walk mindfully, or failing all those things, rest a little and make a determination when you are going to get up. You are not going to sleep for a long time. Other ways of reflection include seeing the suffering in impermanence and the danger of laziness, even in, not only in meditation, even in lay life. If you are lazy, you can sleep the whole day, but you are not going to gain much. So the danger of laziness, the distress caused by birth, decay, disease and death, the suffering in the realms of misery. The realms of misery are the animal world, the Peta world, the Petas are the sort of ghost-like, and hell, right? These are the realms of misery. And the suffering of the present, rooted in the search for food. Now, if you look at your own life, you will see that after all the exertion, all the energy all the effort that you make to do well in your job or whatever it is to find food. True, you may want other things too, a place to live in, a better house, clothes, all the other amenities, all these things. But still, the main thing is food. So this search for food is what is also suffering. Okay, now that is about the third hindrance. Now the fourth hindrance is restlessness and worry. Restlessness is called uddacha, is seen by excitement, agitation, uneasiness, and anxiety. This is due to looking outward, instead of inward, all the time you are looking outward. So that is why you get restless. This one is never satisfied with things as they are. And because of fault finding, the mind cannot settle down. You start finding fault with your own people, with the co-workers, with your employer, with the government, with everything. So you cannot settle down. All the time your mind is working and it's restless. Restlessness is compared to a slave who has to jump to the orders of a cruel master. During the Buddha's time, there were slaves, in houses. But worry or kukucha is seen by the sense of guilt and remorse due to moral transgression, breaking precepts, doing the wrong thing and not the right thing. You see, uneasiness of conscience because you have done the wrong thing, neglecting the wholesome thing. And then the fear of karmic consequences. It's important to purify one's virtue and become kind, gentle, and wise. The antidote for this hindrance is to find contentment with your lot, whether small or great, and to be grateful for the moment. I think there was somebody called, was it Job Steve or somebody, who, when he was dying, said, with all my wealth, I have done nothing. And he was, regretful at the moment of death. Now, that is not something that we should, do. We should always make our life happy, make our life useful, not only to yourself, but also to others, and share what you have. Then you will be happier. I remember somebody telling me that when you do things and when you help other people without thinking of recompensation, without thinking of getting back something in return, actually your whatever you want becomes greater and you become happier. So anyway, some meditators too experience this hindrance when they are impatient to reach the next attainment, whether it's a jhana or a path state. You see, now when you have reached your concentration to a good level, you think, oh, now I must get my jhana. Or if you have attained the first jhana, you think, I must get my second jhana. Right? So like that, and that's also not very helpful. Though, we have to aspire, we have to put forth effort. But, that kind of restlessness comes because when you think in the wrong way, even for spiritual attainments. Now, the fifth hindrance is doubt. This doubt may be about the Buddha, if it's true that such a person actually existed, or the Dhamma, whether the path factors are actually possible and is Nibbana a reality, or Sangha, are they holy and is giving to them of any use, or the training, will it help us to attain Nibbana? It could be also doubt about oneself, that is, whether one will be able to follow the meditation instructions, also about the capability of the teacher. Doubt disappears when one attains stream entry or sotapanna. The Buddha says that these hindrances prevent us from knowing our own goodness and that of others. We don't see the goodness in ourselves and even in other people. There is good in everybody. They are not only obstacles to meditation, but also the enemies to having a natural, acceptable, peaceful, and wise way of dealing with the world. We should not be ashamed of them, for they are not our personal failures. All human beings have them. By developing mindfulness, it's possible to let go of them. It's important to understand that whatever problem that may arise in meditation is due to one or more of these hindrances. So, if any obstacle hinders your progress in meditation, it's these hindrances that one should look at to find the cause. When they are present, if one can see that it's in the mind, it's the beginning of wisdom. This way of noting helps in finally letting go of them. Friends, I have dealt with one factor, that is hindrances that feed ignorance. But there are altogether 8 factors that feed ignorance. So I'll continue with the other factors in future discussions. Now, if you want, I can give you the other factors if you like. These are the factors. Now, the hindrances are fed by misconduct, 3 kinds of misconduct. Then the 3 kinds of misconduct is fed by the non-restraint of the sense faculties. Then the sense faculties are fed by lack of mindfulness and clear comprehension. That is fed by careless attention. And careless attention is fed by lack of faith. Lack of faith is fed by not hearing the good Dhamma. And not hearing the good Dhamma is fed by not associating with good friends. So you can see why Buddha said that the sasana is totally due to good friends. Okay, so before we go further, I like to, I'll wait a little bit more till we finish the meditation also, right? So if you have any questions, please ask.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Hi, I have been in, I guess I feel very upset lately. I'm suffering out of others people's actions. I am a big animal lover, and I don't know how to not get upset with people who mistreat animals. I feel we breathe the same air, and I have seen a lot of animals being beaten, and it's made me suffer because I feel so bad, and then I get angry, and so I'm just stuck, and I don't know what to do. Is there like a mantra or anything I can do to feel better or wish the animal well? I'm just finding that so much ignorance with everyone hurting and thinking they're better because something's different, or I guess I'm just stuck with ignorance. and
okay.
And a lot of
what, I didn't catch your name, please. What's your name?
Alex. I'm Alex.
Alex?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Now, I have to tell you that I had the same, shall I say, same feeling about animals. I was not a vegetarian, earlier in my lay life, right? Earlier, earlier part of my lay life, I was not a vegetarian. I used to eat, fish and meat and things like that. Then, even after some time, I realized that animals, just like you, I felt that animals were being very badly treated. In fact, I can tell you the experience I had. That is, one day I was watching it was a video that was sent to me by somebody, and I was watching it. I saw that there were this was in another country. I don't want to mention name, where the cows had their calves, and these people had brought big trucks, and they were throwing the calves,
Yes.
not dead calves, the living calves. They were just throwing them into the truck, and the cows were crying out. And when they took the truck away, the cows ran behind the truck. It made me sort of cry, I felt so bad. And long before that, I had become a vegetarian. But when I saw this, I thought, after this, I will not have milk also. So I gave up all, now I'm a vegan and a vegetarian. That was my response to this cruelty. One thing, Ale, we cannot sort of make other people do things, we can only do things for ourselves. So therefore, the best thing that we can do is to send meditation, to send metta to those animals, to those people who are doing it, right? We cannot make any difference between those, who are doing the wrong thing as well as the victims. Whether they are victims or whether they are the ones who are victimizing the others, whatever it is, we have to deal with them in the same way that Buddha did, right? So therefore, we can do certain things for ourselves. We can't do anything to prevent it from happening. Now you might think that I'm trying to exonerate or to sort of find an excuse for it. No. But according to the Dhamma, we always get what we have done, right? So when you think of these animals also, the very fact that they have become animals is also their karma. Because according to Buddhism, according to the Buddha, animals also have been at some time what you call human beings. And because of their bad behavior as human beings, they have become animals. And as you can see, there are certain animals who are very well fed, very well looked after, not only, cows and hens and so on, but even other animals, now like dogs and cats and, so many animals who are very well looked after by their keepers, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, the similar animals, like animals, cats, dogs, and so on, they have no food. They go around, searching for food, and they are covered with sores, and so you can see all these things in the world itself. So therefore, don't get angry about these things because it's useless becoming angry. What we should do is what we can do for ourselves. That is sending metta, meditation, and of course, not to, we can feel sorry, I do feel very sorry about such things, but there is hardly anything that we can do to stop it. Unless, people realize for themselves and then they bring laws and, try to ameliorate the suffering that animals undergo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I just realized how much I was suffering from it, and You just, yeah, that makes me feel so much.
It doesn't help the animals, our suffering.
Yeah.
Only our metta can help.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other questions, if you have, please ask. No? Doesn't look as if you have any question. Okay, then shall we do a little meditation? Okay, sit down properly. And as usual, today I'm going to do the body scan or the Kaya meditation. That is called Kaya. Kaya means the body. So it is the body and mind, because without the mind we cannot look at the body. So we now in this particular meditation we cannot go beyond the outside of the body, because there is no time. We are doing a very short meditation, but I hope it will give you the incentive to do it for yourself. That is to, continue looking inside all the impurities in the body, right? So let us now sit down properly and take a few deep breaths. Now, focus your attention on the top of your head. See what sensations you can feel at the top of your head. Even if there is any pain or irritation, look at it and think of it as impermanent. It will go away just as it has come. Now go down to the sides of your head. Then the back of your head. Come to the forehead. See whatever sensations you may feel, the air, or is it warm or is it cool, or are you happy with your, whatever you feel is there. Look down, further down, go to your eyes. The lids are closed, but you can feel a little bit of heaviness now that the lids are closed. Go down to the nose. You can feel the air going in and out, rising and falling, going in and out. Go to the cheeks. Feel the air on your cheeks. You feel comforted, happy. Go down to the mouth. Your lips may be touching each other, but you can feel the teeth, the tongue, and the saliva in the mouth. Go down to the chin and the neck. You feel the clothing. Now focus on the back See the spine that's straight with the neck and holding the head. Your chest, come to your chest now. You can see the chest rising and falling further down to the abdomen, the rising and falling. That is the air that you have taken in through the nose. It goes right in and causes the abdomen to rise and fall when it goes out. If you are seated, you will feel the buttocks on the seat. The hardness of the seat or the softness. Both are elements. Now go down to the legs, the upper part of the legs. Let's come back to the hands, the arms. The arms are hanging from the shoulder. There is a certain weight that the shoulder has to bear. And if you are keeping the hands one on the other, you will feel the warmth of the hands. And if you are keeping them on your thighs, again you feel the warmth there. Now go down to the knees. If you have bent the knees, you will see that. If you have cross-legged, then again there is a difference in the bending. Then go down to the feet. See how the feet are placed. Now look at the sitting posture and the way you are sitting, the body, how it is bent at certain points. Instead of thinking of it as my body, just think of it as a body. Out of all the other bodies, this is also one body. Contemplate on that for a few minutes. Open your eyes slowly. I have something more to say, especially today. Now we have acquired, I hope, some merit by listening, by giving. So, whatever the merit that we have acquired, let us dedicate to our departed relatives and friends. There may be, all of you may be having, and I too have, we all have departed friends and relatives. May we dedicate this, as well as all the talks that we have discussed, all the suttas that we have discussed, whatever merit we have gained through those, may all of them, those who have departed some time back or maybe recently, may all of them be able to share in our merits, and may they be able to get a good rebirth. In case they have not got a good rebirth, may this also add to their merit, and may they all be able to attain a good rebirth and also attain Nibbana in whatever way they like to attain. And also may all those relatives be happy, be well, and be peaceful. So let us say sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And then may we share whatever merit we have acquired with all the devas who might like to see that we have done something good, and may they also share our merits, and may they also be able to attain Nibbana in whatever way they wish. Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu.
And may we all be able to attain the liberation from this samsara and attain Nibbana, maybe by attaining Sotapanna in this life itself. May all of us be able to attain Nibbana as soon as possible, in whatever form, in whatever way we aspire to it. So let us think of all the good that we have done in this life, and also the suttas that we have listened to and the suttas that we have understood and followed. May all this merit be helpful to us, not only in liberating ourselves, but also in the mundane world, to live our life as good people, good citizens of this world, helping others while helping ourselves too. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.